All right, who's nervous already? I know some of you watching, some of you probably already getting a little bit of an anxiety. Maybe you've already had it all week. I don't know, but the prior games are finished, or at least the Saturday prior games are finished. And next we have 49ers, Cowboys on tap. Obviously, Bengals, Bills is going to be the undercard to begin the day tomorrow, but the grand finale is what it should be. Cowboys versus 49ers tomorrow. And we have a nice show here to help you get to bed, hopefully, tonight. Hopefully, we could use this as a way to talk everything out. We're going to have a nice 49ers Q&A. We're going to deliver some more predictions. We're going to talk about the matchup. We will reflect on my visit to Candlestick Park. Hope you got to see that video. And we'll take care of some news. I need to put a text title up for this news, though. So give me just 1 second, because I just got word about something that was trying to take social media by storm, but it's not going to take social media by storm anymore by the time that this comes out. I've just put it out on Twitter. I thought I had the text title ready, but I guess I didn't, so let me write it. Oh, that's why it didn't go. I am maxed out on banners. So I'm going to cut this out. All right, let's put one more in here and let's talk. All right, the news of the evening. There was a big rumor going around social media that DeMeco Ryans had 2 head coaching interviews on Sunday before he was going to coordinate the 49ers defense in its biggest game of the season to date against the Dallas Cowboys. That would be unprecedented. You don't hear about interviews happening on game day. And these reports online came from aggregators who misinterpreted previous reports. I have it from a source that DeMeco Ryans does not, in fact, have any interviews on Sunday. So you can rest easy. I initially saw some of that stuff floating around on social media, and I said, oh, well, okay, maybe he's talking with the team and it's not going to be anything big because game planning is already finished anyway. But no, DeMeco Ryans actually doesn't have any interviews scheduled for Sunday. He's going to be locked in on 49ers Cowboys. Obviously, there is interviewing going on during the week. DeMeco Ryans had something on Thursday evening, and then I believe something on Friday afternoon. Kyle Shanahan's full blessing came with it because coaches have downtime too. They have extremely busy schedules, but they have some downtime during the week. Now, the NFL, you can argue all you want. Should the NFL prevent coaching interviews during the course of the playoffs? Should they table that all until after coaches are eliminated? And, that's a debate for another time because it's not a rule right now. So the best that these coaches can do is manage their time well. And the 49ers really do believe that DeMeco Ryans has managed his time well. But again, I can report that no, DeMeco Ryans does not have any interviews on Sunday before the 49ers take on the Cowboys. Okay, moving on. 49ers versus Cowboys for a chance to play the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be a huge game. The Eagles just steamrolled the New York Giants, so this will be the last game of the season tomorrow at Levi's Stadium. It would have taken a Giants win for the 49ers to have a chance to host the NFC title game. So now this is for a chance to play at Philadelphia. And only the contenders are left in the tournament. The New York Giants were pretenders. Last week, the Minnesota Vikings were pretenders. The Jacksonville Jaguars, yeah, they're an ascendant team, but they weren't ready for the big time yet. They got beaten today by the Kansas City Chiefs and their hobbled quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. So right now, what we have left in the tournament are the Cincinnati Bengals, the Buffalo Bills, obviously both contenders. They're going to play at noon Pacific on Sunday. The San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys, obviously both contenders. They're going to be kicking off around 3:30 Pacific on Sunday. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, who both punched their tickets today. They obviously are also both contenders. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. We know that. And the Philadelphia Eagles are the number 1 seed in the NFC. They absolutely creamed the New York Giants today. It wasn't even close. I think it was 28-0 before Matt Breida scored a touchdown, former 49er for New York. I thought that, maybe the Giants were scratching and clawing their way into making it semi-interesting, but then Daniel Jones decided to just voluntarily run out of bounds for a big loss, and it turned what would have been a 3rd and 1 if he had just thrown the ball away into a 3rd and 6, and then he missed the pass on 3rd and 6, and then the Giants punt it, then that told me that the Giants weren't serious about winning this football game. So it wasn't a good game to watch as a fan. I actually swung by Kezar Pub, which is the Eagles bar, and they're going to have a problem if the 49ers win tomorrow, because the Eagles have 2 bars in San Francisco, but one of them is Kezar Pub, legendary place by Kezar Stadium where the 49ers used to play. It's one of the best 49ers bars in the city. I mean, as weird as it sounds, it's hard to find a really, really raucous, good 49ers bar in San Francisco because the fans are dispersed amongst all the bars, right? So I always like to visit team bars in cities that are not the team city, because it forces all of the fans from like Cleveland or from Pittsburgh or, whatever team you want to name. It forces all of the transplants from those cities to assimilate in one spot, and it makes the bar super fun. When you go to a team's bar in the actual home city, the fans are going to be spread apart across all the bars. So you have to find the bars that are really serious about football. And I'll tell you what, Kezar Pub is one of them in San Francisco for 49ers fans, but it also happens to be the Eagles bar. So if the 49ers beat the Cowboys tomorrow and it's San Francisco, Philadelphia for the NFC title game, I'm not sure what Kezar Pub is going to do. I may have to write an article on this. I may have to go swing by and see what the hell are you guys going to do. You're an Eagles bar. You had neon green lighting at the bar today for Eagles fans. There's a ton of them in there, just getting hammered, enjoying the Eagles game. But obviously Kezar Pub, that's as 49ers as it gets, right? It's right by the old stadium there at the corner of Golden Gate Park. So what are they going to do next week if it's going to be both? I'm guessing the Eagles might win out in this battle because, Kezar will say, well, yeah, we have some loyal Eagles fans that have been coming here every week, and 49ers fans can go to one of the other 500 bars in the city. But that's going to be a definite little subplot of this next week when the 49ers and the Eagles play, if the 49ers do beat the Cowboys tomorrow, for that chance to play against the Eagles. Oh boy, it's going to be huge tomorrow. 49ers in Dallas. I mean, it's so big that, I did a little something today. Why don't I pop this open on the screen right here? Got to go to my YouTube page. Those of you who have already watched this, congratulations to you. Those of you who haven't watched this yet, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you should watch it right now. This is it right here. It happened today. Oh, I got to present this on the screen. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Here we go. Candlestick Park in San Francisco. I did my 49ers Cowboys prediction from Candlestick. So, and I thought it had to be done because the most recent time that the 49ers and the Cowboys have played in the postseason in the Bay Area, it was the most star-studded game in NFL history, and it was at Candlestick Park. And if you watch the video, you're going to get Pat Summerall's voice. You're going to get John Madden's voice. You're going to get shots of Candlestick. You're going to get me walking around the parking lot at Candlestick Park. You're going to be, there's faded glory at Candlestick Park right now. They haven't started redeveloping it yet. It looks a little bit like this. Nature is taking back the asphalt. I'm sure many of you had awesome tailgating memories on that pavement that is right behind me. And those are the ladder rungs and the light fixtures, all the ironwork that was part of the stadium right there. So Candlestick Park lives on, although the stadium itself is now just a big pile of dirt. So hopefully you can check that out because I had some fun doing it. The prediction I did from the end of the pier right here at Candlestick Park. So, I mean, I had to step over really sketchy parts of this pier. If you look at this, there's that big hill near Candlestick. Look. I mean, here, let's rewind just a tiny bit. Okay, I risked my life. A good thing I'm a good swimmer. Because if this wood, I had across this little wood plank, it was like a balance beam. If this wood was a little bit flimsy, I'd probably be in the bay out by Candlestick. It was a nice warm day. My phone, though, which serves as my camera, might have been ruined in the bay. So it's probably a good thing that I didn't fall into the bay. Anyway, Candlestick Park visit was fun. My prediction for 49ers Cowboys, I amended it a little bit. You're going to have to watch that video to see exactly what it is. But it does relate to 49ers Cowboys and that last Dallas postseason visit to the Stick. All right, talking a little bit about tonight. Philly did exactly what we could have expected against the New York Giants. Philly, listen, Philly's number 3 DVOA. The New York Giants are number 21 DVOA. So this was the number 3 team versus the number 21 team in the NFL. This was an elite team against a bad team. And before you go, oh, well, the Giants beat the Vikings who won 13 games last week. Yeah. Minnesota's number 27 DVOA. Minnesota's even worse than the Giants. That was a pathetic playoff matchup last week. So anybody who was using it as a predictive factor for Philadelphia against the New York Giants was out of their minds. 2 bad teams played in Minnesota last week. One of the bad teams won. Maybe I'll be nice. I'll call the Giants mediocre. So one of the mediocre teams won. That mediocre team went into Philly and got stomped by the Eagles today. The thing about the NFL now, after today's nightcap, is that only the good teams remain. So I'm going to put up the DVOA chart from Football Outsiders here on the screen for you as soon as I log in. There we go. And we could see who remains where everybody is to give you a visualization of what this is going to be about. The 49ers are number 2. Buffalo is number 1. Philadelphia is number 3. And Dallas is number 6. But look at this. 1 Buffalo, 2 49ers, 3 Eagles, 4 Chiefs, 5 Bengals, 6 Cowboys. Those are the 6 teams that remain in the tournament right now. The top 6 DVOA is still in. Everybody else is eliminated. So far, DVOA has actually correctly predicted the winner of every single playoff game. And because of that, you'll probably be happy to know that the 49ers are number 2 and Dallas is number 6. So the 49ers, on paper, statistically, are better than the Cowboys. They just have to hold serve. If DVOA is going to correctly predict the entire first 2 rounds, well, what do we have here? Cincinnati's number 5 and Buffalo is number 1. So Buffalo would win at home tomorrow if DVOA is a correct predictor. Is it going to be a correct predictor? I don't know, but so far it has been. But anyway, we're at the stage now where all these teams are good enough to reasonably have a chance to win the Super Bowl. In fact, the only other team outside of these 6 that had a double-digit DVOA percentage above average were the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens actually, lo and behold, came fairly close to upsetting the Cincinnati Bengals, but they didn't. And the Ravens, of course, a lot of this percentage came due to the fact that Lamar Jackson played a lot of games for them this year, and he wasn't available for that wild card round. So no surprise that Cincinnati won, but the top 6 now remain. The 49ers trail only Buffalo. Now, I mean, we could filter this by week, though, because this is one might argue that filtering this by week would be more predictive because teams evolve over the season. The 49ers, more than anybody, they picked up Christian McCaffrey in week 7, and McCaffrey started for them on a full-time basis beginning in week 8. So I'm doing week 8 to now. Let's look at the DVOA rankings from week 8 to now. They're up on the screen. Look at this. 49ers, number 1 by a mile, 52.2%. This is by the way, explainer for everybody. This is defense adjusted value over average, or on the offensive side, offense adjusted value over average, but they just call it defense adjusted for simplicity's sake. This is an advanced measurement of efficiency. So instead of just measuring, oh, he picked up 5 yards, that's really good, it will penalize a team if somebody picks up 5 on 3rd and 7, but will reward a team if they pick up 5 on 3rd and 3. So this is a smarter way to look at the game than raw yardage. On top of that, it will also adjust for the strength of the opposing team. So defense adjusted or offense adjusted if it's the other way around. DVOA is far more predictive than raw yardage or point totals or whatever you want to do. It's far more predictive of who's going to win a big playoff game than the less sophisticated measures. So that's why you should be paying attention to defense adjusted value over average. Anyway, 49ers, since McCaffrey has been a full-timer, number 1 in the NFL DVOA. Kansas City, number 2. Buffalo, number 3. Philadelphia, number 4. Look at Detroit since week 8, number 5. Unfortunately, Detroit just couldn't get enough wins earlier in the year when they weren't playing as well, because they did beat the Packers in that last game, but they got squeezed out of the playoffs. Dallas, 6. Cincinnati, 7. So 6 of the top 7 still alive when you talk about post-week 8, and there's a good argument to be made that Detroit wouldn't be faring all too poorly in the postseason based on how they were playing to close the season. But the 49ers are number one total, number one offense, number one pass offense, number one defense, number three rush offense. That's a big improvement over earlier in the season when they're number 26. Number six, pass defense. Number five, run defense. And number four, special teams. So, again, to summarize, the 49ers are one offense, number one defense, number four, special teams, DVOA, ever since McCaffrey became a full-timer. That is why the 49ers are favored over the Dallas Cowboys. And if everything holds serve as far as these DVOA rankings and predictive value goes, yes, the 49ers will win. But my question is, who's nervous? If you're nervous, get your questions ready because I'm going to do a Q&A here after we cross 1,000 live viewers. Maybe get some water. So make sure you do check out that Candlestick video. I'm going to get the predictions piece up right now up on the screen from The Athletic. Got to do two things. Got to get that piece up and got to get center stage up. The 49ers Cowboys rivalry of the 1990s because, there's just always so much to talk about. It's story time whenever we talk about the 49ers and the Cowboys. Let's get this up there. Center stage, Niners, Cowboys. Boom. All right. There we go. Okay. So if you go to The Athletic right now, then you can get this, which is Niners, Cowboys, improved offensive line gearing up for its biggest test yet. So this is the modern day piece. You can go ahead and check that out in the comments section. It is in there right now, or the chat section. I explained DVOA a few minutes ago, so go ahead and rewind to that when I'm done with the live. But it's defense adjusted value over average. It is basically a smarter way of ranking teams. Okay, and now center stage. Reliving the revolutionary 49ers Cowboys rivalry of the 1990s. One of my favorite pieces that I've ever written. And we're going to get to relive that tomorrow because this is the first time since January 1995 that the Cowboys have visited the Bay Area for the postseason. So it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. 49ers Cowboys, it's awesome. And when we go back to this, for 3 straight years, this was the Super Bowl. In fact, Pat Summerall said this was his line entering the game for Fox's intro. In 2 weeks, the Super Bowl will be played. After that, the Pro Bowl. Today, we'll play both. That's how good Dallas and San Francisco were. The salary cap was introduced right around that time, and that's why the 49ers started whittling off there toward the end of the decade. But they were still at the height of their powers when they faced the Dallas Cowboys in the middle of the 1990s. This picture right here is from 1995 after Deion Sanders switched teams, went from the 49ers to Dallas. But it's a good photo because it illustrates the rivalry. There were multiple players who went from one side to the other. The other one, by the way, Ken Norton Jr. went from the Cowboys to the 49ers and really helped the 49ers muscle up and beat Dallas in 1994. Well, they beat him in 94 during the regular season, but then the NFC Championship game was in January of 1995. But you look at the history of this rivalry and you look at the fact that these two teams essentially played the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game for 3 straight years, and you just marvel at, wow, I mean, these guys changed the NFL. The 49ers were too damn good. The Cowboys got too damn good. The salary cap reined everybody in. So we will never see a rivalry like this again. Let me tell you something about Candlestick Park. On that day when the 49ers and the Cowboys played in January of 1995, there were 21 Pro Bowlers, 19 All-Pros, and 10 future Hall of Famers on the field at Candlestick. The NFL's all-time leading receiver, Jerry Rice, and the league's eventual all-time leading rusher, the Cowboys' Emmitt Smith, were on opposite sides. That was as good as it's ever going to get for a game in the NFL. And this is why we remember it. And we'd only remember it on this YouTube channel and on me, with me going to Candlestick, which I did today. We remember it through the teams. Kyle Shanahan literally had a video collection, a montage of clips ready for the 49ers on Friday, where he played the January 1982 NFC title game. That was the catch, Joe Montana to Dwight Clark. And then he played the 1992, 1993, and 1994 NFC title games, 2 won by the Cowboys and 1 by the 49ers. And then he played last season's wild card game at Dallas. And why did he play last season's? Well, Kyle said to show the guys that they're part of it. So imagine this. He shows the 49ers the epic history of the 81 season and then the 92, 93, and 94 seasons. And then he shows them 2021 and says, look, guys, you're part of it. And that's what's at stake tomorrow for 49ers Cowboys. It's not just a game played in a vacuum. This is a game that people care about on a national level because it is the most glamorous rivalry in football. There is a whole heck of a lot on the line. More than last year, because last year they played in the wild card round. Whatever, wild card round, first round of the playoffs. You can be a pretender and still make it there. To make it to the divisional round, and with the pedigree that both of these teams have, we know that both of these teams are contenders tomorrow. Let's not kid ourselves. So this is where it gets real. This is where it gets big. Number 2, 49ers DVOA against number 6, Dallas. It is going to be awesome. Looking forward to it. All right. I could talk more about 49ers Cowboys. David Butler has a good comment. Put it up there. Your piece about Candlestick was some of your best work. It brought some tears to my eyes. So many awesome memories. Thank you. That means a lot, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Here it is again. I mentioned the catch, January 1982. Why don't we watch that? Why don't we put it back up on the screen? I got to rewind a little bit more. That's the sign of Candlestick behind me. Still up, by the way. There's Montana throwing, finds Dwight Clark. I got the catch in there, I think, twice. I got the painful 1971, in 71, the Cowboys beat the 49ers in the NFC title at Kezar to close that stadium. But 72, divisional playoff on the AstroTurf at Candlestick. The reverse onside kick from Tony Fritsch, bobbled by the 49ers, recovered by the Cowboys. I mean, painful memories for the 49ers when playing Dallas. But it was all reversed in January 1982, January 10th. 1982. There's Montana. There's the throw. There's the catch. And of course, there were more good memories for the 49ers on that field. And this is the last time the 49ers and Cowboys played in the Bay Area during the postseason. Steve Young threw an absolute dime to Jerry Rice to finish the first half, and the 49ers won 38-28. You're going to get to see Steve Young run over a cameraman right now. Huge weight lifted off of his shoulders. Here it comes. Oop. Nailed him. Too much adrenaline there for Steve Young. So thank you for the comment. I appreciate that. That's the Candlestick video. I have my prediction in there. Go ahead and check it out. This rivalry meant so much to people, and I think it's going to mean a lot to people again if the 49ers and the Cowboys keep on meeting in the postseason, because that's just how these things work. If you keep on hooking up in the postseason, scars are formed, right? I mean, anybody who loses is going to remember that more than the team that wins. So the Cowboys right now are hurting after last year, and they're going to be desperate to get a win against the 49ers. The problem is the 49ers are better than they were last season, right? The 49ers, the offense, night and day better with Christian McCaffrey, a healthy quarterback. Now, consider this. The 49ers beat Dallas last year. On the road, I get it. There were a lot of 49ers fans, but the 49ers beat Dallas last year without Christian McCaffrey, with a quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo who was playing with 2 injuries, a torn thumb and a torn shoulder, both on his throwing side, with a banged-up offensive line, and with Nick Bosa on the bench from the second quarter onward due to a concussion, and Fred Warner also out in the fourth quarter. The Dallas Cowboys came back late in that game. I would think that it had something to do with the fact that the 49ers were missing both Bosa and Warner. And the 49ers won anyway, 23-17. So the 49ers are so much better than last year. Now, the Cowboys can also say that they've improved since last season. Defense remains strong. I mean, it is a pass rushing defense. They might be a little soft against the run. That could work in the 49ers' favor. But the offense for the Dallas Cowboys, well, they've improved since the regular season if we're going to look at that game against Tampa on Monday night as a gauge. Dak Prescott was phenomenal, 25 of 33. But the thing is, Dak Prescott wasn't great during the regular season. Dak Prescott threw 15 interceptions. Dak, I mean, look at this. To me, this is a storyline right here. We don't know which Dak we're going to get, but the Dak that was out there during the 2022 regular season, look at that interception rate. Look how high that is. It's 2 points higher than his previous high interception rates during seasons. 15 picks in relatively limited time for Dak Prescott since he was hurt for a while and Cooper Rush took his place. So Dak didn't throw any against Tampa Bay. Looked really good against the Buccaneers, but I'm still wondering which Dak Prescott will show up because a worse 49ers defense last year did intercept Dak Prescott. K'Wan Williams' pick set up Deebo Samuel's monstrous touchdown run. Huge play for the 49ers, and it was part of a sequence. And, the big stat that really stands out to me is that the 49ers lead the league in turnover margin. So, they're much fresher and healthier now than they were last year. That was a marathon of a season that I think ultimately caught up to the 49ers, but Dallas was one of the winning parts of the marathon, one of the winning legs. But the 49ers are going to have an extra 2 days of rest over the Cowboys, something that they earned with a better record during the regular season. And I think that freshness and that health can reasonably be expected to give the 49ers some good takeaway opportunities. Remember that this team led the NFL with 20 interceptions during the regular season. Remember that this team is undefeated when it wins turnover differential, which it's already done well more than 10 times this year. And remember that this team has found a way to cut down offensive giveaways, mainly through Christian McCaffrey being out there. I mean, even Jimmy Garoppolo, who had a higher than average interception rate throughout his entire career coming into this season, was under 1%. He ranked number 3 in lowest interception rate after Christian McCaffrey took over. And I think number 3 overall for Jimmy Garoppolo this year in interception rate too. The McCaffrey addition to the 49ers offense gave them such great spacing that neither Garoppolo nor even the rookie Brock Purdy, although Purdy's been throwing a few more picks than Garoppolo was, Purdy's also below average. He's also taking care of the football for the 49ers. And I can't, overanalyze or, overstate how big that is, because turnover differential is the one statistic that is most correlated with wins and with losses. So here we are looking at turnover differential and the fact that the Cowboys have struggled with it this year, that Dak has thrown a lot of picks this year, and the 49ers have intercepted more passes than any other team in the NFL, and they've also generally avoided those turnovers and those fumbles. So that's what the 49ers have to continue doing, because the team that wins turnover differential tomorrow is going to be much more likely than not to win the game and advance to face the Philadelphia Eagles. I have a prediction that this is going to be the most watched non-Super Bowl game of the season. 49ers Cowboys. All right, let's open it up to some questions. 49ers Q&A night before. More water for me. See what you guys are up to. Scarface 916 thinks 4 sacks tomorrow for the 49ers. You know what, though? Dallas has got a better pass rush than the 49ers. It's Philadelphia and Dallas that have the highest pressure and sack rates in the league. I mean, Dallas may not have a great run defense. 49ers number 1 there, but the 49ers need to make sure they win the sack battle. When you say 4 sacks, I don't know which team you're referring to, because Dallas can get after the QB as well. The 49ers have the number 3 O-line in football. That has been a tremendous surge for the 49ers. That's in pass blocking efficiency, but they will be tested to the max by Micah Parsons tomorrow. Not only Parsons, but they have Dorrance Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dante Fowler Jr., Osa Odigizua in the middle, the big tackle. This Dallas team is going to come for the 49ers tomorrow. Both D-lines, I think, have the advantage over the O-lines in this game. But that 49ers O-line, they've been playing ball this year. So I'm going to wait to see how that is going to look. So Scarface amends his comment here and says that he thinks the 49ers are going to get 4 sacks tomorrow. But, I mean, it's a big one. Ian Sharp, Gibson, 2 turnovers. Why don't everybody put their predictions or their score prediction down into the comment section? Maybe I'll pick a few, put up on the screen here, unless you want to put a question. So we'll see. Predictions, score predictions, whatever. Bold predictions. More comments, the better, though. It'd be awesome. James Foster, Barrett active tomorrow. What's going on with Drake Jackson? I don't think Barrett's going to be active tomorrow. I think that Alex Barrett is off the practice squad to get a pay raise. They did the same thing with Tevin Coleman last week. It's a good way to reward a guy who's given you a lot of big practice squad time here over the last couple of years without it counting against your salary cap because it's the playoffs. So being active for Alex Barrett is a profitable thing. He's going to make some money off of that. And Tevin Coleman did last week, but I wouldn't expect him to be active. And if the 49ers want to go for a pass rushing game, well, then I would expect Drake Jackson to be active. If they're going to be looking more to stop the run, I think they're going to double down on defensive tackles tomorrow. Do I think that Bosa will get home against Tyler Smith, the rookie tackle? Yes, I do. I think the biggest players show up in the biggest moments, and that means that Nick Bosa is going to show up tomorrow. Yeah, DVOA is very accurate. The Giants beat the DVOA. The higher ranked team has won every single game in the playoffs so far. It goes to the AFC too because Jacksonville was ranked higher than the LA Chargers. But yeah, Giants beat the Vikings. Cowboys beat Tampa. 49ers beat the Seahawks. Philly beat the Giants. If DVOA is accurate for Niners Cowboys, it will hold true tomorrow. I didn't think this was right. The Dallas radio show. I don't think you ever joke about injuries. It didn't sound to me that they were really joking about it too. I just as a football fan, I hate injuries to either team. I just sit there and I want to watch the best football possible. I'm an enthusiast for the sport, right? So I sit back and I just want to watch the sport and I want to write about great athletes going against each other. Who in their right mind wouldn't want to watch Christian McCaffrey? Even if it's beating your team, like, I mean, you got to watch the best guys. Go watch high school or college football if you don't want to watch the best players in the world. They got plenty of that in Texas, right? They got plenty in high school and college football. You go watch Pop Warner if you want. But why are you an NFL fan if you don't want to see the best play the best? That's the point of the league. It's the best playing the best. You could watch many other bush leagues, right? You could go you could watch the backwater teams play against each other if you don't really want to watch the best play the best. So I felt that those comments were really self-defeating. Okay. See some predictions. The great guitar dude thinks the 49ers are going to win 38-17. I mean, that'd be a huge win. That would really set it up for Philly. Right now, as of right now, I'm predicting if the 49ers win, I think Philly will be a 3-point favorite because they give 3 points to the home team. Some people are saying, oh, Philly minus 4.5. They'd be favored over the 49ers on a neutral field. I don't think so, but I don't know. I don't know what Vegas is thinking. They want to set the line so they could maximize their profits. That's obvious. So we'll see what happens. But if the 49ers win in resounding fashion, like the great guitar dude says they will, then I do think that evens out the line as far as without home field advantage counted. The Cowboys have no effective number 2 receiver, and they also don't defend number 2 receivers well. They're number 32 DVOA against number 2 wideouts. So if Charvarius Ward can really muscle up against CeeDee Lamb tomorrow, and Ward's been really good for the 49ers this year, that's going to give the 49ers a really, really big advantage defensively in this football game. So, it's going to be hard for me to get every single one of these comments, but Kevin has a good one right here. Thank you. Did I see Kurt Warner break down what the Cowboys need to do to beat the 49ers? No, I didn't see that yet. Purdy called the fans Niners Nation at press conference. I have no idea. Are you asking me what's better, Niners Nation or something else? Isn't there a debate between Niners Nation and Empire? I don't know. That's up to you guys. You guys are the fans. That's up to you to decide. But thank you. I appreciate it. Was Dallas SF in 1995 the last playoff meeting since last year? Yes, they didn't play in between 95 and 2022. 94 season, 2021 season. Hit the like. Love it. Drop in your predictions. Drop in your comments or your predictions in the comment section in that chat. That'd be awesome. And, when this video is done, those of you watching later on, literally go into the comment section and put your predictions in there, because I know we're going to have a lot of viewers after this. I would like to see your predictions in the legitimate comment section, not just this chat section. Tyler Smith has a lot of penalties this year. I would look out for that. Tyler Smith has, I think, been penalized 12 or 13 times this season. He's going to be the left tackle for the Cowboys. But, I also don't look at him as a rookie anymore because he's played 18 games already on the season, right? This is the end of the rookie year. It's not like he's going to be a wide-eyed guy in weeks 1 or week 2. Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas, the 2 rookie tackles for Seattle. Great example, right? The 49ers played him in week 2. They played him in week 15, and then they played him in Seattle's finale in the wild card round. And both of those tackles for the Seahawks were better each time, especially that last time. So, I don't go too big onto rookie anymore because the guy has a lot of games under his belt, right? So Tyler Smith is a good player. He's not a bad blocker by any stretch of the imagination. My evaluation of that matchup, though, is that Nick Bosa is a game breaker. Nick Bosa is the best defensive player in football. So advantage 49ers in that matchup. And we might still see Bosa line up against Tyron Smith on the right side. But here's the thing. Remember Charles Omenihu owned Tyron Smith last year. 6 pressures, not all against Smith, I think, but most of them were. Had a sack against Smith, just overpowered him, kind of the long arm bull rush. So I think you like Omenihu working against Smith because he has demonstrated success against him. And then you could have Bosa work on the rookie on the left side. It will be sunny. You guys want to see what the weather was like here in the Bay Area today? Well, you saw the Candlestick video, right? It was nice and sunny there. But my final roster update video, go to Dolores Park here, give you guys the lay of the land and the city. Now, I hate when it gives me like the video recommendations before the video's even done. Anyway, here, I'll just play my face talking. That's how nice it was today. And then here, look, I'll fast forward a little bit. And the end of it, you're going to just get to see them, it's not my fault that that's popping up there. I'm sorry. But there you go. Take a look at that. Dolores Park, the music festival that never starts. I mean, it was just pristine in the city. So it's going to be sunny at Levi Stadium tomorrow as well. Somebody was like trying to be a smartass on Twitter. He's like, oh, that's an hour away from the stadium. It's like, yeah, dude, the weather is exactly the same. It's not like the Bay Area is so regionalized that every single day the weather is different in all different spots. Especially in January, it's likely to be the same during the day everywhere, especially when it comes to rain or shine. It's the summer where San Francisco gets cooler and foggier, and Santa Clara is going to be a lot hotter. Okay, waiting for some more good questions. Light up that comment section. Appreciate everybody for joining. Yeah, Michael Gallup does have a height advantage on Lenore. But if the Cowboys are relying on throwing jump balls to beat the 49ers defense, the 49ers are going to be whistling their way to the NFC Championship game. Yeah, Lenore might lose a jump ball or two. But again, jump balls are not sustainable ways of generating offense, especially if you're going to need as much offense as I think the Cowboys will need to beat the 49ers tomorrow. So I wouldn't worry all too much about that. Kyle Shanahan, by the way, hates jump balls. Doesn't like to scheme them. He thinks it's lazy play calling. He likes to generate separation with his wide receivers. He likes his wide outs to get open. He likes to make sure the scheme shows that the coach is actually doing some of the work instead of just telling a guy to catch a jump ball in one-on-one coverage without any separation. I saw that Caesars will owe bettors a lot of money if the 49ers win because they started the season at 3-4. So they have a lot of liability. Terrence McIntosh is talking about the catch number 4. Ooh. That'd be crazy. That'd be nerve-wracking. I mean, comments like that probably make people watching this show a little bit nervous, right? That would make the end of the game a little bit hairy for the 49ers. But Brock Purdy working against that Cowboys defense. Maybe he'll have to have some magic in him. We'll see if that prediction comes true. Oh, you think that Robbie Gould is going to save the game, huh? Robbie Gould, 25 of 25 in his career in the postseason. That's a record. Nobody's attempted that many field goals in NFL history in the postseason without missing. Robbie Gould has that. Now, on the other side, they're probably going to go with Brett Maher, the guy who missed 4 straight extra points. He did better in practice than Tristan Vizcaino this week for the Cowboys, Vizcaino, former 49ers kicker who actually filled in for Gold late in 2020, did a decent job for the 49ers, if I remember correctly. And that's why they were in Arizona. And they signed him. Dallas did to the practice squad to just in case Maher's yips continued. But I think that Maher outkicked him in practice. So keep an eye out for that, though. I mean, the guy missed 4 straight extra points last week. This could have a factor in 49ers Cowboys. My thoughts on the Eagles' dominant win. I think it's exactly what we should have expected. The Eagles are number 3 DVOA. The Giants are number 21. It was a great team, one of the NFL's elite against a mediocre to bad team. I think a lot of people overvalued New York after they beat Minnesota last week, but guess what? Minnesota is number 27 DVOA. Minnesota won 13 games because they got luckier than any team had ever gotten in the history of the NFL this season. So number 27 DVOA with 13 wins. They had 13 wins with a negative point differential. So the New York Giants going into Minnesota and winning was not an accomplishment, at least from the vantage point of the big boys in the NFL. It might have been an accomplishment for the Giants because they're trying to be an up-and-coming team, but they literally just went in there and beat the number 27 team in football that had gotten really lucky during the course of the year. Because of that, because Minnesota couldn't even win at home in the wild card round of the playoffs after winning 13 games, the 49ers have gotten the hard path to the Super Bowl. They have to play Dallas, number 6 DVOA, and if they win, they're going to have to play Philadelphia, number 3 DVOA, and that's before they're going to play one of the top teams in the AFC because the only teams remaining are the 3 kings over there, right? The Chiefs, the Bills, and the Cincinnati Bengals. So the 49ers' final 3 games, if they do win the Super Bowl, or if they go to the Super Bowl of this season, will be the hardest possible path. But if you want to win a championship, you got to do that. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And it's good for entertainment value for us for sure. Somebody watched my video. Wesley Brooks did. 38-28. That's an homage. That's what we call an homage to 49ers Cowboys, January 1995. Yeah, the 1 seed is important, but, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. The Eagles got a couple breaks to get it. They squeaked by a couple wins. The 49ers, they unfortunately lost a couple early. Chicago and Denver come to mind that really bit them. I think it was, people might talk about Atlanta, but the 49ers had so many players hurt for that game. Chicago and Denver were tough because you had the monsoon, Trey Lance in week 1, and then it was Garoppolo's first start when they lost to Denver, so there was rustiness there. At some point, you just throw your arms up and say, what can you do? You lost the game. Now you got to go the harder path, and the harder path will be the 49ers. If they beat Dallas, they have to go on the road to Philadelphia. Travis Pace thinks this game comes down to Kyle Shanahan against Dan Quinn. All right. Dan Quinn's a Seattle-style defense related to the 49er-style defense, although they've diverged over time. By the way, those of you joining, we got a news update there. Speaking of the defensive coordinators, no, DeMeco Ryans does not have interviews on Sunday. That's coming from me. Well, it's coming from a source, but I'm reporting that. There was a freak out on Twitter over a misread report that DeMeco Ryans had interviews coming on Sunday, but he does not. So just you could calm down on that front because it's not going to be happening tomorrow. Let's go back to 49ers Q&A, see what you guys have to say. Maybe be on for about an hour today. Show's still growing, so you guys know me. As long as the show's growing, I'm happy to be on. Mark thinks the Cowboys are going to make a stupid clock management error. They did last year. That's why they lost. I mean, how did they think that running to the middle of the field with 14 seconds left and no timeouts was a good idea? We'll never know. 49ers are certainly happy that it happened, though. Dak wanted to blame the officials after the game. That was a bad situation for Dallas last year. Over 1,500 in here. Damn right. We set a record after the Cowboys beat the Buccaneers. I think we had 2,700. Thought we might get 3,000. Maybe get 3,000 after the game tomorrow. AJB thinks that Purdy has this. That was a good game last year when the 49ers beat the Eagles. That was a defensive battle. But yeah, it was ugly, but the 49ers did get it done in Philadelphia. My friend just texted me, responded to my tweet. I said, only truly formidable teams remain. The 49ers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals. And my friend Harrison responded saying, this is so good for the NFL. They couldn't ask for better teams to remain. All of the jokers are out. All of the unserious pretenders are out. It is only the big boys, the adult table moving forward in the NFL. Cowboys are kind of small. They're going to have to sell out to stop the run. Purdy will have big plays early. I think so. I think Dallas is, they're built to rush the passer. They're lean on the back end, especially. They're lean. They're good in coverage. They take chances. They try to feed off of a really good pass rush. But if you run right at them, we saw it last year. The 49ers had their way. 38 runs. They really controlled the tempo of that game. 49ers were able to win despite a quarterback with 2 serious injuries to his throwing arm. This is a good point. If the 49ers, okay, I'm not sure actually. This is up for debate. You guys can type in the chat section what you think. If the 49ers don't lose versus the Bears, the Broncos, and the Falcons, they probably don't trade for McCaffrey. Oh, I don't know. McCaffrey is such a perfect fit for this offense. You guys know I was all over it when it happened. I was like, yeah, this is a game changer. When you can get McCaffrey for a price that is lower than a first round pick, and you can replenish all your picks, which is essentially what the 49ers have done, right? Through some of the wheeling and dealing and then the minority hiring advancement rule. They've gotten picks back through that. They're going to get 2 more through Rand Carthon. When you could do that, I mean, trading for Christian McCaffrey with so many years of team control left was a no-brainer. It's unbelievable that people were calling that trade. Some people were calling that a bad trade when it happened. It's a generationally good trade, and the 49ers were able to do it. They say that it all started in Carolina, and that was before the Falcons game, right? When they're in Carolina, they saw McCaffrey, and John Lynch told Scott Fitterer, the Carolina GM, hey, let's stay in touch. So they obviously were thinking about it even before that Falcons game. Words of Wisdom wants to see McCaffrey and Debo in the backfield, Juice flanked out wide. Well, you might get your wish because the 49ers run super multiple sets on offense. Mahomes did hurt his ankle today, to answer John Jones's question. Yeah, this is the thing. Jeff McCaffrey's under contract for 2 more seasons after this one. 49ers are average, I would say 35 since Purdy took over. It's 34.8. You could round that up. And that's including the 21-point game where Purdy was hurt against Seattle. So I could add that up. I would have to do some math, which I don't feel like doing right now, but they'd be closer to 40, right? Or somewhere by 37 if you only considered the games where Brock Purdy was healthy. I mean, stuff has been clicking. I think, the biggest variable for the 49ers this year where the offense has been number 1 DVOA. It was even with Garoppolo after McCaffrey joined this team on a full-time basis starting in week 8. That's been, the single biggest change that we've seen with the 49ers. Now, Purdy gives the offense a little bit more upside than Jimmy Garoppolo because he's a little bit quicker. Do I think that he might still be leaving some plays on the table due to rookie inexperience? Yes. So the downside is a little bit bigger too. It's a higher delta, right, between downside and upside for Brock Purdy. I think the Garoppolo situation is interesting right now because he's obviously not 100% yet, but the quicker you can get there, the more quarterback depth you're going to have for the 49ers. But, I think that they've been awesome under Brock Purdy. I think there's still meat left on the bone. And I think that Christian McCaffrey is the star that has pushed the 49ers over the top, right? That water is now overflowing. The points are now overflowing. They needed that one extra piece to mix the drink. And Christian McCaffrey has certainly been that for the 49ers. Oh boy, I can't wait for tomorrow. Going to be so much fun at Levi Stadium. I'm looking for more questions here. Robbie went to an NFL simulator. 49ers won 4 out of 5 times. Sounds about right for a 4.5-point favorite. I think that's what the 49ers are with the line in this game. I don't care about the refs in this game. You got to beat the other team badly enough to where the officiating doesn't matter. That's just the way that you have to operate because you never know how the refs are going to operate. How do I feel about backup QB? Oh, it's Dale. I met him the other day at the coffee shop. That's awesome. Thanks for the question, Dale. It's Josh Johnson. I mean, it'd be tough if the 49ers had to get to that. It'd be a hell of a story, Bay Area native. You feel a lot better about backup QB if and when Jimmy Garoppolo is able to be back in the 49ers active lineup. That's for sure. And that's what Christopher Byers is asking. And I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. It might be close. We'll see. Let's worry about that a little bit later. Right now, what's really funny is these people worried about Trey Lance right now and his future. And it's like, guys, that is not the worry of the moment. And if it's content creators putting it out there, guys, Trey Lance will get you your clicks for the next several months. You're acting so desperate to be talking about Trey Lance at every single turn. Right now, this is Brock Purdy. And I'm not, Jimmy Garoppolo, okay, we're starting to monitor it, but he's out for this week. This is Brock Purdy against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. That's what matters right now. Worry about the rest when it actually matters. Ridiculous. Yeah, Drake Jackson was among the league leaders in passes deflected at the line. I got to like his bend up there. We'll see how the 49ers want to scheme this. This is news that I'm going to be reporting tomorrow from Levi Stadium. If it comes down to a 50-yard field goal, who's the Dallas kicker? I'm guessing it's going to be Maher tomorrow, but we'll see. Surprise, Tristan Vizcaino called up. Well, they would have had to call Vizcaino from the practice squad, right? I don't think they did today. All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to take off. Everybody have a great night.